I have a pretty massive music library. I have an equally, if not more massive, physical media film library. Same can be said for my video game collection and certainly my toy collection, which is bigger than most. Certainly not the biggest, but it's pretty impressive, I do say so myself. I'm known all over the world in certain circles for different things, whether it be live streaming on Twitch for gaming, my career as a drummer and vocalist in the extreme metal scene. I've been in movies. I've been on YouTube a long time. When I was a young kid, I dreamed of doing things like this. Last year I got married, and we're very happy. I've got a dog again, and we're in a safe, secure environment in a place that we feel comfortable. So why am I depressed? Before I go any further, I want to be very, very clear. Depression, anxiety, burnout, all kinds of negative feelings, they're going to manifest differently for different people. So anything I say about my journey should not in any way reflect one way or the other on yours. Everyone has their own struggles. I recognize that. I'm just here to tell my story. In addition to everything that I described at the beginning, of this video, I've also clawed my way through a pretty long career path, starting with the Marine Corps, getting into some really, really cool activities there that taught me a lot about, how I best work and got me more interested in technology than I'd been before, and gone on to do some pretty cool things at a lot of different companies, some more technical, some more academic. And, the last job that I had, spoilers, was the culmination of all of that. I got to use my tech expertise, my passion for education, and my passion for creating content all under one roof. And it was amazing. It was kind of the job I'd been building to for over 15 years. And the bottom fell out from under me. In December of last year, it was announced that I would be no longer needed in my role. This gave me time to prepare. And again, I've said this before, we're financially secure. We're okay. And I'm actively looking for work, and I have the means to take my time to make certain it's the right move. But the problem is that it's not losing the job that is the big thing, although it is a catalyst of how I've been feeling. My burnout's been building for a long time. All of last year, pretty much from the very beginning, we were building to something. My wife was to move down here permanently. Along with that, I was starting a new role at my job, the one that I really enjoy, so it was new experiences there. The move itself was going to have multifaceted things. If you've been on this channel before, you know, but just as a quick recap, if you're new here, we had to move her and Gabby, our dog, from Oregon in one long drive. Her things would arrive later via movers, which, thank goodness, we didn't have to drive cross country with that. In addition to that, we had to pack all of the belongings we had in my very small, hotel efficiency, I guess you would call it, apartment. In addition to having a storage unit full of things here, 2 storage units full of things in Houston, which is 4 hours plus away, and could somehow consolidate everything and get it into the apartment, unpack it, integrate it, and then added to that this whole toy collection, which had never seen the light of day all at once. And as a matter of fact, it still hasn't. All of my loose figures are still in the closet, and there's a lot of them. So getting this completed, this has been a huge source of stress. It shouldn't be, but it has been. So, and I'm condensing a very, very long and convoluted tale just to say that from January through probably the end of May was go, 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 right? Plus doing work. plus all the traveling. And it was a lot, but it was all like, hey, we're building to something, right? And when the dust started to settle, and we were in our home together, and we were solidifying plans to actually tie the knot, and just getting things to a certain place, we're like, okay, all right. And for a brief moment, I had a lot of momentum. You know, building new furniture, arranging the house, getting things unpacked to a certain degree. And at a certain point, we just hit a brick wall, both of us, her and I. Because between the breakneck pace of work and doing these things, plus just the energy it takes to get used to living with someone again, no matter how happy it makes you, it's an adjustment. All these things led to me being constantly on, for lack of a better term. I was always on. If I wasn't entertaining someone in a video or a live stream, we were reintegrating our lives, and we're showing each other movies, and having that fun time that you know, when you're in a long distance relationship for any period of time, yes, you get to have some pretty in-depth discussions, and sure, there's ways to share movies and things like that over distance. But to be able to relax in a place that is ours, that it's never been either of ours singular, and it's like we're comfortable in our space with our stuff, there's something else to it. And sure, there was, even in our calmest moments, I'm like, okay, we gotta find this movie, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And I didn't recognize it for what it was. I couldn't shut my brain off. And I began having problems sleeping. I began re-experiencing a lot of anxiety attacks, panic attacks, more often than I had in a long time. And not recognizing it for what it was. I mean, I knew they were anxiety and panic attacks, but I didn't realize I was just pushing myself so hard. By the time we get to our wedding in August, which was a very small affair because we figured if we couldn't include everybody, we wouldn't include anybody, and we'll have a reception later in time, which, of course, we're looking forward to. But on that particular day, it was some of the worst back pain I've experienced in years, because all the stuff we had done up to this point with moving and moving around and packing and unpacking, I'm no spring chicken, and I do not exercise. I should exercise more and consistently and be building my back muscles, but I'm not doing that. And I had horrible, horrible back pain that day. I couldn't even stand up straight without being in excruciating pain. But we got through it, and we were able to have a nice pseudo honeymoon, thanks to a couple friends of ours that were helping out. And we just so happened to have like a hot tub in there and stuff, and that was very nice. And it was a drop in the bucket, kind of a quick vacation. It kind of hit the reset button, right? Then, you know, we come back to things, and I really start to stress about this area not being finished, certain things not being unpacked, and work. I was pushing myself pretty hard with that stuff, and it was difficult to motivate certain types of things and whatever. But I was getting there. I enjoyed my work, but it was clear that the work combined with all this other change, a massive amount of change, you know, every aspect of my life changed last year from the very beginning. And I wasn't processing it properly. I wasn't dealing with it in a way that one should. And then we hit right around Halloween or so, when I'm starting to really look forward to the end of the year, when things start to slow down in that line of work. And Thanksgiving hits, and I am informed in no uncertain terms that I would be let go. Obviously, I can't tell you all the details and everything, but to be perfectly upfront, it was if you're going to get laid off, this was the way to do it. We were taken care of. That was at least a saving grace of the revelation that I was going to get let go. I was like, okay, well, at least we're going to be okay. So, and almost immediately, I found myself laughing more, and I was stressed a lot less because I wasn't worrying about deadlines. I wasn't worrying about being on for work or anything like that, or being up at a certain time. But then I let creep in a certain amount of pressure for Christmas. Christmas means a lot to me. It meant a lot to me growing up. And my wife hadn't really had a happy Christmas in a very long time. And I decided to make all of my focus on making sure our Christmas was as good as it could possibly be. Well, we had a bit of a roadblock with that. You see, her stuff from Oregon arrived 3 or 4 weeks after we initially moved in. And although we unpacked a sizable portion of it and moved other things around to where now there was just a menagerie, a mixture of boxes from her and I, just in what is supposed to be our dining room. We just kind of have it as an extended area of the kitchen. And all the boxes are stacked to the ceiling in there. And here we are, it's 3 weeks to Christmas. How are we going to accomplish this? And it's something I couldn't do by myself because there was so much of her stuff involved, and I wanted to make sure she knew what was there and what wasn't, and vice versa. This is something we had to do together. And over time, there were days where I couldn't, step up, but didn't have the energy for it, and there was days that she couldn't step up, have the energy for it. But we did really push. We finally did get it finished, but then we were out of energy. The tree is there, all of our decorations are here, but we just can't bring ourselves to put it up. We had friends help out at the 9th hour, a week out from Christmas, a couple days actually before Christmas, and help us put it up. And it is still up right now as I record this towards the end of January. We're going to be tearing it down real soon because it needs to be packed up. We have other plans for that room, and we have the space to do it now. But like I said, everything was go, go, go. Even at a time when I should have been more focused on recharging and focusing on the next steps, I chose to move focus to something that, by comparison, is a little bit on the frivolous side. But it was important. I wanted to make sure that our first Christmas in the same place was special. And it was. And it really helped. But right after that, after Christmas, after New Year's, the bottom dropped out of everything. It was like one of those rack focuses. It was like, because December's a really bad month for me and for her. We have a lot of loss commemorated in that month. A lot. I'm not going to go into crazy amounts of detail, but just to give you one example, both of our mothers passed within a day of each other the same year in December 2015. So that's kind of like the touchstone of the whole thing, right? So you're going through that, you're processing that trauma, you're supporting each other, you're trying to build this new life in the Christmas tree in the wake of the fact that the most stable thing you had, your job, is no longer there. And then the holiday's over, so there's always a bit of a depressive bounce downward after the holidays for me, because if it's done right, the holiday's super happy, and then there's nothing. This time it was a bit more because I just wasn't processing the loss of the job. I wasn't processing a lot of the grief as well as I should have surrounding that. I put a lot of energy into not ignoring the past grievances, grief sources, I guess. But it was all there. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And to a certain degree, it's still hitting me pretty hard. So I'm dealing with stress from constantly being on the go, leading to burnout in every aspect of what I was doing, including content creation, YouTube, and so forth. You have legitimate depression coming from several sources that they normally come from, plus the added, hey, you don't have a job anymore thing. And it all just pushes together into this big wave that just was pushing me down. And like I said, probably still is to a certain degree. And it's like, well, what do I do now? So I made the decision, once I realized I was dealing with it, to deal with it as much as I possibly could on my own. To show myself some grace, to allow myself to, if I needed to sleep, I'm just going to sleep. If I need to eat, I'm going to eat. Still going out of my way to make healthy choices, hydrate, things like that. Be supportive for my wife, and certainly vice versa. She's been just amazing. Just try to get through it. And part of that was like, okay, in these situations where you don't feel like you have control, the knee-jerk reaction tends to be, I'm going to control whatever I can. In fact, that was something that was taught to me earlier in my career. You control what you can and forgive yourself for the things you can't control, kind of a thing. So I decided that the thing I was going to control, aside from how I reacted to things, how I, projected myself into the world, was also to take some stress off of things and to reevaluate how I approach content. I wasn't having fun anymore. Well, if I'm not having fun, I shouldn't be doing it, and I didn't want to quit. So I had to stop and reevaluate and decide how I could have fun again. And that's what the I Can't Do This video was about, was me refinding that fun. And the ideas are there. Things are being shot. It's going in the direction I want to go, even if it's not as fast as I would like. I certainly don't have things moving in here the way I would like, but the plan is there. And I'm, starting to find my way out of the funk a little bit. I was reminded today of just how much effort I've put into things, even despite saying like, oh, I'm not going to worry about it right now. Lauren has a good habit of reminding like, hey, just because you aren't productive in the ways that you think that is productive, let me count the ways that you've held things up for a while. And she went over all these things, and like, these aren't small things that you do. They mean everything. And they do take up your strength and your energy, and you should acknowledge that and forgive yourself. So I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to forgive myself more often. And it kind of leads to, me recording this video when I am. I've done 2 or 3 takes of this before, and I thought I was going to go for a methodical approach at first and really analyze it and dice it up and chop it. I don't think I need to do that. I think that I owe it to myself to be open and to be vulnerable and just put it out in Front Street and say that I'm scared. I'm really scared. I thought I had everything figured out. And just when I thought I had everything figured out, I had us in a secure place through apparently no fault of my own, I don't have an active income anymore, which is scary because it's not just me anymore. I've got a family I have to worry about. And it felt like such a kick in the teeth to have gone through so much, especially in the last 5 years. 2019 to now, a lot of stuff happened to get us here. And to feel like I finally beat the system or whatever, and then the rug just get yanked out from under and feel like, oh, no, you haven't. That's what it feels like. But what I need to continue to do is recognize it as an opportunity and take the reins, take control, and decide what direction I want to go in and do that. It's proving harder than ever because I do constantly battle a lack of motivation and so forth. But every day is a little better than the last. And I think that's what I'm trying to say here, is it doesn't matter how bad it gets. Because it's going to get bad sometimes. You're going to feel low. But one little thing, if you find yourself laying down a lot or sleeping a lot, just sitting up is an accomplishment. If you're wearing a dirty shirt, put on a clean one. If your face is dirty, wash your face. If you're hungry, eat. Every small little thing makes all the difference. And that's what I'm trying to remind myself. And if you're dealing with similar thoughts, I hope that this resonates. Doesn't matter how complicated, how long it took to get here. What's important is that you made it through this far. And you're gonna be okay. Even if it doesn't seem like it, it's gonna be okay. Take the little steps. The big ones will come later. Just a little tiny thing every day. Before you know it, you'll be out the other side. Not sure how you got out of it, but you will be out of it. Or you'll still be in the battle where you won't have to fight as hard. You're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. But you will get through it.